Welcome to a brand new week. And if you're new here, my name is Cryptokheed, and this is where I am documenting my forex trading journey. And you're welcome as you join me on my journey to consistent profitability. So it's a brand new week, and it's currently Monday midnight. And I want to quickly go over the markets with you all and then give you all my market insights for this week period I'm looking at. So first things first, like I always do, I want to first go over price action of DXY. So as you all know from my previous video, and if you haven't watched that, please do well to watch that. And there's a lot of knowledge in that video. And please do also like, subscribe, share, comments. I really love if you can join me on my journey. So DXY, I have had this target on DXY from last week, this low in DXY, and this is still my bias for DXY. So I'm still leaning bearish on DXY for this week, but then I was kind of skeptical with this weekly close we had. This was Friday's price action, and this is Monday's price action. So a new day just opened. It's currently 1 a.m. So it's like peak of midnight, and it's currently Asian session now. So I am still bearish on DXY. I don't over analyze DXY because I already did that in my previous video. So the pairs my watch lists are the two main pairs I want to take a trade on tomorrow, being Tuesday, or today being Tuesday, because a new day, is first of all NZUSD. So NZUSD was also my watch list for last week. So we had a nasty price action yesterday being Monday, but then it turned out to be good because we had price open with a gap on Sunday, and then Monday price action was a recovery. So price opened the gap down. That's why I see this candle started from around here. Opened the gap down, went back to retest this resistance, and then went back up and then gave a bullish close. And currently there was a news that came out on NZD CPI. It came out around, let me show you all that. NZD CPI, it came out, inflation rates came out around 11:45 yesterday, Monday, and it came out higher than expected. So that's positive for NZD. That's why you had this push that we had over here, and NZD at this level of candle. So currently interested in taking a trade at NZUSD. Still same bias from last week. This buy sell liquidity is where my targets. This buy side liquidity is my target for this week. So I'll look for positions by London or New York session today. And then the second trade I'll take is GBP AUD. So this pair was not on my watch list last week, but then it has been on my watch list for a long time, and I was waiting for my final confirmation. So we just finally broke below, gave a close below this weekly level of support. So as you can see, price came to the support, bounced, came back to the support, bounced again. It came to the support, accumulated, broke below it, but then on the weekly time frame, price did not break, give that close below the support. So finally gave the close below the support last week. So this week I'm interested in taking GBP AUD, and this was Monday's price action this week that we had. So this was kind of like a manipulation, grabbing liquidity on the lower time frames, and currently I think the distribution should start by, if not tomorrow, then Wednesday or Thursday. So I'm interested in taking this trade. So I'll look for an entry today, Tuesday, on GBP AUD also. So these are the two main trades I want to take for this week. I also have areas and GPS in my watch list, but then EU and GU. The reason why I'm very skeptical about taking EU and G is because it's looking like price wants to start forming another resistance. As you can see, several rejections from this point. So if I'm taking a trade, even if I want to take a trade on EU and G, I don't think I'm going to take a trade to these targets. And that's also because on G, for instance, now here, for price to get to these targets, about 136 pips. EU is also similar. For price to get to this high over here that I marked out, it's about 147 pips. But for DXY, for price to get to the target I marked out on DXY, which is this sell side liquidity, it's about 70 pips, 73 pips thereabouts. So even if I want to take a trade on EU and GU, I'm going to be taking a trade to previous week high, which is going to be this high over here, instead of me taking a trade to this overall high. And that's simply because for price to get to previous week high, now on C7 is about 70 pips. They're about same price range with DXY getting to its target. Same thing on EU, same price action on GU, same price action on EU. So for EU to get to previous week high, about 70 pips. So I'm still kind of like skeptical, and I don't want to skeptically enter a trade. I want to make sure that I'm entering an A+ trade, even though this is kind of like my A+ setup. But it's looking like price won't start accumulating, and the fact that I already have 2 confirmed A+ setups that I want to take in NZUSD and GPAUD, I don't take on too much risk for this week, because number one, this is the last trading week for the month of April, and this is not me really being too cautious. If I had gotten my A+ trade on the ENG, I'm going to take it. But then, since I already have an A+ trade on NZUSD and GPAUD, then I'm only interested in those 2 pairs for this week. Except something else happens, maybe I get cleaner price actions on ENG. So leading up to Thursday, I'll still have ENG on my watch list. But then these are the 2 main trades I'm taking by tomorrow, if I get an entry. So you all stay tuned, and I'll keep you all updated by tomorrow, by London session or by New York session. So stay tuned, and please like, subscribe. I'll really appreciate it. So I'm currently in this trade on NZUSD, and honestly, it's not looking good. So I'm currently in 2 trades right now. NZUSD almost at my stop loss. I think few pips to my stop loss. About 7 pips to my stop loss. 7-8 pips. And at this point, there's nothing I can do, because I got my entry confirmation, and like I said, this is my 8 setup. But then when I'm looking at pattern, this is looking like head and shoulders at the moment. Left shoulder, right head, left shoulder, right shoulder. I'm having this rejection. So if this doesn't go to my stop loss, and maybe it's some miracle, we get a rejection from here and price goes back up, it needs to break out of this box. So let me name this box seller's zone. It needs to break out of this box. This is the seller's zone, before I know that okay, this trade is going to eventually play as well. So at the moment, we're having tension. There is confusion when it comes to like fundamentals, because Iran, Pakistan, US, they're all trying to like hold peace talks. Iran's Pakistan, but the deadline for the peace talk is, I think, by midnight. Then US deadline for Iran's peace talk is also next, and so tomorrow, I think evening tomorrow, thereabouts. But so there's tension, uncertainty, but I decided to take the trade because I had my technicals line up. So if I did not get an entry on this trade, I would have not taken it. But then I got my entry confirmation. when I took the trade. Let's see how it goes. I'm not doing anything. Either I get my stop loss or goes to my deep profit. There's absolutely nothing I'll do. Second trade I mean is ADUSD. Also not looking good. I'm also in drawdown on ADUSD right now. And I also entered after my confirmation on ADUSD. Okay, I did not analyze ADUSD for you all yesterday. And let me just quickly show you what I saw on ADUSD. So I've been waiting for ADUSD and somehow I missed it when I was analyzing my peers. Maybe it's because I did a rush analysis on ADUSD. So ADUSD is kind of like a weekly confirmation that I got from ADUSD. And same way I trade a lower time frames is the same way I trade the higher time frames. So because price is relative, so anything happens on the higher time frame also happens on the lower time frame. So as you can see, we have this level of resistance, weekly resistance, and then price gave me a confirmation by closing above this weekly. So this was last week candle, and we had a weekly close above the resistance. So this confirms the breakout. If, as you can see, there's several rejections and several weeks above this resistance, but there was never a weekly close above, which confirms that we did not have, the distribution was not ready to begin this past few weeks that we had this consolidation at this resistance. So we had a rejection, then price finally gave that break and close above the resistance last week. So as soon as I saw this yesterday, after I finished analyzing my peers, I tried to like go over all my other peers on my list, and then I saw ADUSD. So Monday closed very bullish. This was Monday's price action. Also opened with the gap, opened around the year on Monday. Then Monday closed very bullish, and then we had a very strong trade on Monday. So today being Tuesday, which is this candle, I entered AUDUSD after I got my confirmation. So I'm currently in AUDUSD buys also, which is this over here. So let's see how this trade goes. There's also another pair I'm looking at, USDCHF, but then I'm waiting for another confirmation. I might take that trade on USDCHF. So I just want to see how this 1 hour candle is going to close. I'm currently having a rejection, and this has also given me my confirmation. And then we have the break below the supports. So this should be a distribution, but then I'm looking at it as it's not going to be a clean distribution. But then I also saw this double bottom over here, which caused this reaction we had over here. And then I had my entry confirmation, but I'm waiting for one last confirmation. So as you can see, this double bottom over here on USDCHF. So all this is in line with the dollar weakness and cross pairs being strong. But then fundamentally, we have to see the ceasefire have to hold. If the ceasefire doesn't hold, then honestly, all these pairs are going to my stop loss. AUDUSD, NZUSD. If I eventually enter USDCHF, it's also going to my stop loss. And then GBAUD, I want to see this 4 hour candle close very bearish before I enter. So I have more time to kind of like be more rational before I enter this trade. So if we have the 4 hour candle is closing by 6, I'm going off the charts now, and I'll just come back by, let's say, 5:50 or 5:40 to see the price action of GBAUD. And if it gives a very bearish close, let's assume it gives a close at this my entry point, then I'll enter GBAUD and write it down to my overall target. If not, then I'm sitting on the sidelines, and let's see how it goes. I'll keep you all updated, so stay tuned. Welcome back to a brand new day, and I made a huge mistake this week, and it's really cost me. It's cost me a little bit of my trading capital, and And the thing is that it happened early in the week. It happened on Tuesday, the day I took my trade, and I literally did nothing else this week, and it just left me in that limbo for throughout the week because I did not get any other trading opportunity to take any other trade, so I just had to dwell in my mistake. I think a lot about it, but then so the 2 trades I took ended up in losses, and I realized that if I was patient for just a day, if I was more logical about the trade I took on Tuesday, and then I would have sit on my hands this week and not get caught up in this stupid price action that happened this week. But then I have myself to blame, and I'll pick up from this mistake, try to learn a thing or two. I mean, throughout this week, that's what I've been doing, thinking about the mistake I made, but then it's all good. So the 2 trades I took, NZUSD, ended up in a stop loss that same day that I took the trade, as you can see over here. First went down, absolutely stopped me out, went back up, came back. Like, the whole price action was just and so annoying. So the other trade I took, AUSD, also ended up in a loss, as you can see. And the mistake I made was taking the USDCHF trade. I also took the USDCHF trade, and it really hurt me. I was like, why was I so stupid to take 3 trades so early in the week? And I've just taken 1 or 2, and knowing fully well that the news about the war was indecisive, it could either come out as positive or negative. I was not supposed to gamble. I was supposed to be very definite. Okay, I know that this is what we're anticipating, and I take it. Not me gambling my capital, but then it is what it is. So basically, I'm back to drawdown again for this month. After being in profits from last week, this week made a big mistake. I'm back to drawdown of 1 hour for this month. So basically, that's for that. I'll be back next week. I don't think I'll get any trading opportunities next week. I think next week is FOMC. I checked the economic calendar. Next week is FOMC, so maybe all this consolidation was because it was leading up to next week. I don't know. I'll be active next week, and hopefully I end this month on a high. But then I've had to reminisce on the mistake I made since on Tuesday. That's a painful part. If I had made this mistake on, let's say, Thursday, I'll have just sweep everything under the rug, look at the mistake, and then move on. But then it happened so early in the week, and the remainder of the week was basically me sitting on my hands, fighting my demons that was pushing me to take another stupid trade. I won the battle, but then I'll be back next week, back on the charts. The grind never stops. Please like, subscribe, and follow me on my trading journey. And it's so beautiful that I'm having these lows, having a bit of high, having lows, because this is trading. This is basically how trading is. It's not always the way you see 90% of gurus flexing on the internet. It's not always like that. And this is like the beginning of my journey. So this is going to be a very big inspiration for those people that are like starting out, what you're going to expect when you're starting trading. And at least you're going to have the right mindsets starting out, and you're going to learn a thing or two from my own mistakes, and hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. So please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and catch you all next week. Back on the chat next week. And next week, if I take a trade, it's going to be a banger, because I will definitely not make this same mistake. So from this loss, I roll forward. I keep on going forward. And how many losses can one take? I mean, how many losses can I take before a very, very big win? I guess I'll find out soon. Catch you on next week, and stay blessed.